Hi, hi, hi. Merry Christmas, my friends. And welcome to NerdTube. And today we're talking about Star Trek Prodigy, Episode 19, Supernova, Part 1. I'm here with Cousin Chito. How you doing?
Eating good in the neighborhood.
Very good. And Boon Claws of Commodore Productions owner, also known as Jim Jiminy, Jim Jiminy, Jim 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 Jim. How you doing? And he's frozen.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, he's having some technical difficulties, but I think he's doing okay. Okay, so this is the penultimate episode of Star Trek
it's enough.
Prodigy. We're almost there. We're almost at the end. The end game is near. How did you guys find it, Cousin Chito?
I thought it was okay. Lots of pew pews, a lot of different classes of starships. So I mean, it wasn't bad. There were a couple things here and there that I was kind of like meh, but not too awful.
Fair enough. And Boone. Oh, he's still quiet. I can't hear you, Jim. You're having some real technical issues today, my son.
I don't know why.
Well, he comes in and out. He's in and out. Okay. Yeah, I can't hear you. 1 minute, yeah, I can hear you. Next minute, I can't. Most of the time, I can't hear you, Jim. I don't. I can't hear you at all. No. I don't know. But anyway, cousin Tito. This episode, like the most recent episode. I mean, Jim, you have to sort it out. Let's figure it out somehow. But I'm going to start with Tito. This episode basically continued right where we left off in the previous episode. With them coming into Federation space, and Janeway is in the brig, and because people thought she was crazy, because Dad ruined her reputation. And this is where it gets interesting now because they're one moment away from everything going to shit, and I'm going to call this person the imposter. She speaks to, you know, uh, Admiral Jericho, who is good to see him again in animation form, and the imposter, as the trill, basically says to him, "Okay, we need to make communication, so we take down the shields," and he agrees, but that's what she wants, obviously, and so that's what happens. And uh, then the protostar, sorry, then those three, the imposter, Diviner, and Dreadnought, they end up going onto the ship, and then shit happens, and it's
Shit does happen.
and it's really interesting as well because before we get all that, we get some evasive maneuvers. Now I don't care how good you are. There's loads of other Starfleet vessels there. They can anticipate what maneuvers you're doing. You can't outmaneuver all of them. Are you back, Jim? No, can't hear him. Can't hear you,
Can't
mate.
can't hear you.
Okay, so just quickly, sorry, Jamie, you kind of throw me off a little bit with your thingy, but I'm just going to quickly go into the comments here. So Daniel Vance says transferring power to the greatest YouTube channel you kind of sort of heard of. So many knots. Oh yes. During the official log using the Brig security feed Revolution Cote lost the protostar before the living concept was fully operational and automated. During the fight, we see the USS Enterprise E. She needs no introduction. Was it Enterprise E?
Was
Amazing.
the E in there? I did not notice.
Yeah, it
I did not.
was. I seen
It,
it.
huh?
Yep.
The
It
USS
it
Centaur.
up. It all turned red and started to shoot. The other ship started shooting on that ship. A lot
Was
of
that one of the
PPs.
ships that came in like later,
Yes.
or
Yes. Later.
The
Yep.
USS Centaur was seen in DS9 are trying to stand multiple video games and was the signing of the Tempera Accords. USS Sovereign portrayed in multiple Star Trek video games in the ship Captain Montgomery. Scott becomes chief engineer of after returning from the Dyson
Yep.
Sphere and
Seen it
CNG
playing.
relics. The USS Thunder Charles, what the hell, was at
Yep.
the Battle of Sector 001, Star Trek First Contact, and the Jurati Bog spatial anomaly, Picard. The USS Nova, one of the ships sent to rendezvous with Enterprise E, returning from Romulan space, with a Raman warbird scimitar.
All
The
kinds of
USS
ships.
Defiant. Oh wow, this is excellent work here, Daniel Vance. Very happy
E,
to see.
even the USS Defiant was following the ship out.
Now, as I said earlier, because like the protestar, they don't want to,
Mhm.
have that connection. With the moment a message is sent between ships, it's over, game
Yep.
over, man, game over, man.
Yep.
And
Pretty much.
so they do the evasive maneuvers, but I don't care. Like there's so many Starfleet ships, you can't evasive maneuver all of them. One of them will anticipate your maneuver and fuck you over because there's too many of them.
Yep.
But still, they're dodging and stuff like that. And then eventually the bad guys they go on the ship, and it seems the imposter she's in charge. She's divine as superior, and
Hmm.
Dreadnought goes full General Grievous
Oh
in this
man,
episode. He goes full General, he turns
feels
himself
nuts.
into the Scorpion King, and all of that shit, and start taking down the team and all of that. And yeah, it's amazing, but he could have killed them, but he didn't. The
Mhm.
protostar crew. But eventually Murph comes on the scene and he starts kicking some ass. But even he gets, you know, even he gets shut down. And eventually we have a fight between Gwyn and the imposter.
Mhm.
Davana, he's on the he's trapped with the living construct. And then when Davana doesn't want Gwyn to be killed, but the imposter doesn't care. And when Davana tries to stop the imposter, the diviner gets stabbed, and eventually he dies, and he becomes one with the force.
Yeah.
With your
I
Powder.
mean,
vapor.
like I called that weeks ago, like the whole redemption arc for the dickhead dad of the year.
I
Like
guess, yeah, I agree with the redemption, but when you have a character that evil, there's only one redemption: dying for the good of the cause, and that's what he did to a degree. But eventually, eventually, and oh, by the way, Janeway, she eventually talks her way out of the brig because the
Mhm.
lady who's uh, looking after her in the brig was somebody she rescued back in the Voyager days.
Yep.
Do you remember that
That was good.
episode?
I love that one. Yes.
I don't remember that
That's
episode at all.
that. That's where they put the people in the transporter buffers and kept them in there, so the other guys that came in inspecting the Voyager couldn't find them, and they did that a few times. Then they finally got them in the shuttles, and they went through the wormhole on that episode. That
Okay,
was a
well,
good one. Yeah.
during the original screening, they forgot to remove the Diviner's body from the bridge, so he sat there the entire
Yep.
episode before someone realized it. Oh, okay. Well,
I wish that guy would have lived too instead of floating around in pieces. But I mean, he was starting to change, starting to get to be the good guy to try to help. But of course, he died at the end. But
the imposter finally opens a channel,
yeah,
and just before Jim was able to stop the transmission, first officer accepts the
rip
channel,
on the
and then
spider.
boom, and the living construct has been activated. And it's like some
Yeah,
sort of glorified virus. I mean, all the surrounding ships get infected, and
they
they
all
end,
turn red.
and they all end up, shooting at each other.
Yep.
And not only that, it affects every part of the ship. Like
Oh yeah.
the fucking universal translators get ruined, so nobody can understand each other.
so here's
Yeah.
my issue with this part though
That
is that
that was interesting.
they had already beamed onto the ship. Once they beamed onto the ship, I mean, yeah, you had to open a hailing frequency, but once you beam onto a ship, you still data has connected, so that the
Hmm.
the virus should have spread as soon as they beamed on. It shouldn't have been open hailing frequencies. It should have been once they beamed on because that's where data was connected. The
Hmm.
virus should have gone. Now, unless it was specifically made to only go off when they open hailing frequencies, but I I thought they said if they made any kind of contact with the Starfleet vessel, so that means a
Yeah, they
transporter.
did.
That means a transporter beam. That means a transporter. You know, yeah, I guess beam. I don't know what the word data transfer. You know, it's technically a data transfer.
Right.
So I was kind of sitting there going, oh, they like I'm like they beamed over. I'm like, oh, here we go, and I'm waiting for it
Yeah.
to go, and I'm waiting, and
Well,
I'm
look,
like, okay, what's going on?
I give him a pass. You
No,
know,
I don't.
Yeah.
I
okay,
don't.
fine. I give him a pass anyway. You know, and yeah, okay.
This is
So
the big crux they've been building towards, and they make a big ass mistake like that. Like
Oh.
I'm sorry, like I was kind, I don't know, I've been very hard on this show, and and this is one of those stupid things.
There
By
had
the
to
way,
been some
I've been looking here, Daniel Vance. You've got to tell me where this Enterprise E is. I don't see it. I see the Sovereign. I see the USS Sovereign, which was the original Enterprise E, like that class, because it's a
right.
Sovereign class. I
Right.
do not see the Enterprise E in here.
yeah,
Well,
mark
that
a second down. The
well, the
middle
Sovereign
second.
class is the one that was there.
Yeah, the USS Sovereign was there, which is the
Yes.
original
Right.
is the original prototype for the Sovereign class, which was what the Enterprise E was, but
Right.
I do not see the Enterprise E here. I don't think they would have done that. Sovereign, yes. That's a good little Easter egg nod, but the the actual Enterprise E being there and there being not even a voiceover from somebody, nah, I don't think
Mhm.
so.
Okay, so
It was close though.
now Gwen, if you remember from the very early episodes of this season,
Okay,
she
so
happened to know many and many languages. So she is able to communicate with everybody, even though everybody can't communicate with each other. And she's talking to Janeway, and they come up with a plan to ask non-Federation allies to help out, so they're like the Klingons because they don't have Starfleet signatures.
right.
Clever. And so they come in and they start taking some of the brunt of the shit, and they start helping out.
Mhm.
But then another incident happens. Because Starfleet is under attack, it automatically means that other Starfleet vessels come in to try to solve the problem, and then they become infected, and so they end up getting into shit, and it becomes a chain of events,
Yep.
and then the episode ends on a cliffhanger.
Uh,
Now, I think, I think we're gonna get some time travel next. I think we're gonna get that. That's
I
Possible.
the
do not disagree with you there.
Yeah.
that's the, I think because we got Chakotay, we got the imposter,
Hmm.
those time travel shenanigans with them. I think we're gonna get some time travel, and that's how this whole thing. It's gonna be like the Omega 13 from fucking, Galaxy Quest. You
There you
know.
go. Yeah, that'd be great.
So yeah,
I'd love to see that.
yeah, exactly. So we'll see how that pans out. But it was an okay episode. Like this really got shit going, and seeing like the stakes are really high. Like the whole of Starfleet is going to be destroyed. Obviously, they don't. We know that doesn't happen because of Discovery being set in the 31st century, for fuck's sake, because of Picard set a few years in the future from this as well. So we know that the Federation comes out okay if this is all canon, and I believe it is canon. So how to so it has to be resolved somehow, and I can
Mhm.
only think of I can only think of time travel because so many ships have been destroyed, so many lives have been lost.
Yep.
That's all they have is time travel. Uh, but yeah, it was an okay episode. It was quite intense, don't you think,
It
I
was a
mean,
Victor?
great episode. I loved it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I
boom.
mean,
Yeah.
I loved all the different. I mean, it did, and when when I was looking at some of the ships, it did kind of seem like that they just kind of took 3 or 4 different classes and just like
Hmm.
copy and pasted them,
Yeah.
Oh,
which is
that old chestnut. Yes.
well, which is fine, as I said. But I mean, you've got like 5 or 6 Defiants there, and it's like
Yeah.
I, I understand. I understand like the Defiant's a kind of a rare ship. I know it's not the only one because we see multiples. We see 2 of them in Voyager, so I know they're around. But it's like, and on top of that, so the Protostars zipping around. And one of my other issues is when the Protostars are, zipping around or the Protostars zipping around and stuff like that, then all of a sudden, you got one Defiant coming in and attacking it, and it's like, okay, the Defiant is more built like a fighter, although I know it's not a fighter. I know it's got like 50 crew members or whatever. It's still a decent sized ship, but it's still a kind of a fighter side, like fighter type craft. It flies fast, it
Yeah.
moves fast. Why would you only have one Defiant in there? Like you would kind of want a Defiance flying in formation, and you would want them going after this ship. Maybe they decided to do one just to neutralize the ship and not destroy it, obviously, but it kind of I don't know. The two questionable decisions. Okay, I get it. I do, Daniel Vance. I do see what you're talking about here. I'm looking at I'm actually looking at the scene on the thing. I mean, it could be the Enterprise E, but it's kind of fuzzy and grainy. And if it is the Enterprise E, then that's another knock against this show, because why have the Enterprise if why have the Enterprise E if you're not going to like use it?
Right.
I get why they're there, but then fucking use it. So
During Gwyn's speech and a slow pan of the fleet, the USS Centaur is depicted twice. Someone messed up. Well, it's a bit like Trump's NFTs. They still got the watermark of the images they stole. The US sovereign whoops in after the Klingons, but the sovereign was already engaged in battle. Somebody messed up. Yeah.
yeah,
Not surprised.
those are the inconsistencies that, I mean, I you know I don't think should be forgiven, but at the same time, I don't think anyone except for us nitty gritty nerds noticed, because I didn't. I just know that there was one scene where they prominently showed the Sovereign, and I'm like, oh, the Sovereign. Um, but yeah, I mean, and I'm glad to see that they're actually using after post Nemesis ships, like the
Mhm.
Akaran class and the Sovereign class and all those, like like they're not using those pre next gen ships like the Excelsior, the Miranda. I'm sorry, I like those ships, but they really overuse them in TNG, and I know there were practical reasons why they did that, and I understand that, and that's fine. But like now we're like after, like we're in a different era, and they need to use some. So they did that, but it's like they took like the Ares refit, the Defiant, the Sovereign, and the Akaran, and I think that was it. And they just kind of Photoshop, like paste,
Yeah.
copy and pasted it everywhere, and it's like literally 4 ships. And as I said, that's better than what Picard season 1 did. Picard season 1 took 1 ship and copy and pasted it all over the place. So
Yeah.
okay, I'm not that's something I'm giving a pass to,
Yeah.
is them kind of only taking 4 ships and whatever. But there's just so many different classes of ships in the Federation, even post Nemesis, that, I mean, they didn't have to go that way. Although it does seem like the Sovereign class is becoming the Connie class of post Nemesis, which I'm okay with. I like the Sovereign.
So,
Yeah, but you got all those ships on there, and that's what makes the show. I mean, you see all those ships; they all turn red and all fighting each other. So
Well,
I
that was
keep
a
it.
bit cliche, where they're all turning red. Like I get it, you want to indicate that they're changing, but it's like, really, like they're turning red.
infected. I think more like the red alert. That's
Right.
or the red alert lights and all of that. But
Yep.
we do have the fact that they can't communicate with each other because the universal translators don't work. So that's going to be interesting to see how they work around that next week as well. Because
I think they already worked around it at the end of this episode, didn't they?
well, no, Gwyn just happens to speak English and so can Dal.
No, at the end
And
of the episode, they were saying, "Hey, I can understand you again." I at
no,
least
no, no, no.
on the
Everyone,
Protostar, at least.
well, they're able. Gwen was able to communicate with everybody else because she
Right.
knows all the languages.
No, but at the end, Jacob Pog and rok-tahk said that they could understand one another again.
Really?
Yes.
I must have
Right.
missed that. Okay,
I mean, it was at the
okay.
very end.
Because
And how's that possible? What's the point of them universal
hologram
translators not
I
working?
think I think hologram Janeway fixed something or circumvented something or did something. I
Halloween,
don't.
right? Yes.
Oh, fucking
She
convenient.
fixed it on their
Convenient.
ships so they can understand each other. The other ships, I don't think they can still understand each other.
And that's true. You can
Right.
that's you have that. Yes, I am correct. Daniel Vance says. Say it
Okay,
again.
fair enough.
Say it loud. Say it proud.
Chico's
I'm glad you picked
correct.
up on that. Usually, I watch episodes twice, but I couldn't be fucked with this show. I only watched it once, and I took down my notes on the first time as well. But yeah,
Once.
I'm
I've seen it
very.
8 times.
Well, I'm looking forward to the show ending. Like, I'm exhausted by it.
Oh, me too.
Like, it just needs to come to a conclusion now. 20 episodes is way too much. It's way too much. And
Well, that's why this should have been season 2. I mean, it really should have been
Right.
season 1, season 2. Season 1 would have been about the Diviner. Season 2 is about finding the Federation. You know what I mean? Like,
well, this is my next thing now because now they're in Federation space. Everything is kind of cut out the bag. Like, what's going to happen at the end of the season? Obviously, everything's going to be fine. The Federation will be saved. The living construct will be destroyed. But if they go back in time to do that, or does that mean they get stuck back in time, which means the adventures continue, but they're back in time now? And they
back
can't
in
go
time where,
forward.
though?
Well, into a period, it's just a thing. Like, how
Hard
far
to
did
tell.
they go? Do they do an Omega 13 and go just back in time enough to stop shit from happening, or do they go way back in time? Like, it's hard to say. But nevertheless,
Or maybe
like,
they'll go into the future, into the 32nd century, so that the to when the Starfleet can destroy the living construct.
That'd be nice.
mm,
No, because then they'd be in Discovery era.
Uh,
Then we'd have an
Instead of
animated
blowing up
show in the
all the
Discovery.
ships. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
well,
Like,
but then we get a paradox, don't we? Because if the living construct has destroyed
Mhm.
Starfleet, then there's no ship for them to take into the future in the first place,
Right.
theoretically. But they might have one of those warp bubble thingies that they had in First Contact, where where they don't get affected by the change in time. But but they're able to see what I don't know. All this shit drives me fucking nuts.
that's
But
why that's why time travel's like, come on. Like, I unfortunately agree with you, Xanta. I think that we are going to see time travel in the last episode to fix things. I hate time travel. And I mean, let's be real. Like, not a lot.
it's a cop out. It's a cop
It is
out,
a
isn't
cop
it?
out. And here's the other thing is that not a lot of ships, like, there have been a couple Klingon ships that have been destroyed. Not a lot. And there's been maybe 1 or 2 Federation ships, but not a lot of ships have been destroyed so far. These
Right.
ships are taking their good old time to blow each other up. Like, they're because a lot of these ships are shooting each other with
But,
phasers, and if, like, with their shields
yeah.
down. So it's like, if obviously the ships, maybe I feel like the way that they could have gotten around this is they could have found out a way to lower their lower their phaser. So yeah, they were shooting each other, but they're not like hitting each other at 100% phaser power, or torpedoes weren't at 100%. So they were doing damage, but it's like they don't even mention that. And I'm sorry, like, there's been multiple occasions where ships use like 2 torpedoes or 1 torpedo to blow up another ship.
Mhm.
Especially Bird of Preys. And I know that we're talking about different eras here, but like, not Chancellor Gorkon. Um General Chang's ship in Star Trek 6. That
Mm.
so they shot like 3 or 4 torpedoes at that thing, and it was done.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
the
mean,
Klingon bird of prey are smaller, aren't they?
Small ship.
Than
And they
smaller
also
ship.
had
yeah,
their shields dropped too. So
but look at how much damage these ships are taking. Like,
Yeah,
that's
but
what I'm
they got destroyed by 2 ships as well. Like target. Remember, Sulu target explosion and fire and
yes,
all of that. Yes,
Excelsior.
of course
I
you do.
know. I'm just saying, like, these ships are like, it's like they're pulling their punches. It's like they're taking their good old time to blow themselves up. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like
Yeah,
the 5 minutes for a Dragon Ball reference here. It feels like the 5 minutes that Namek's gonna blow up. Like, they say, okay, we're gonna destroy the Federation. It's gonna take 5 minutes. Like, and then like 20 minutes later, it's still happening. Like,
If you remember on there, that living thing there, it showed it had pictures of different ships now and then. So it will focus on a ship and fire its stuff, focus on another ship and fire on that back and forth. But it showed different style ships on that living ground thing. I
Yeah,
can't.
but I don't think it's using one at a time. I think it's telling all the ships to fire one another. I
It
think they were
probably is.
using that as more of a visual aid, like
Right.
that how it's because there were like you saw at the end, there were like
Mhm.
5 or 6 ships
Oh
firing
yeah,
on each other.
yeah.
So I mean, it's not doing that every single time. I don't think. I think maybe it's infecting them one at a time, like you're saying, but like once it infects it, it just keeps going.
Oh yeah.
It keeps firing. So as I said, there's just the some of the practical things that I'm kind of like, okay. But yeah, it was fine. As I said, the concept is interesting. I've
Well,
always wanted to see a Federation civil war where it's like two
we
factions,
got
like
it.
two large. But I mean, this is like
This ain't it. This ain't it
no, I
though.
know it's not it. But I
Yeah.
always wanted to see Federation ships
Close
fire on
to it.
Federation ships.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is probably the closest we're ever going to get to a
Wrath of
Federation civil
Khan.
war.
Wrath of Khan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is like Wrath of Khan times 20 because obviously there's way more
Yeah.
Yeah.
ships.
All the ships.
But
And
And all he wants is his ball. You want to give him a ball?
I'll give him a pole. All right, it's a nice
Mhm.
thick pole.
and if you guys
So
remember on Janeway's ship when she kept telling them to not fire, and the officer that's in charge of the weapons said they had no control of their weapons at all.
yeah,
Well, and that's what I'm
I mean,
saying. It's like it just
yeah.
seems
Yeah.
like these ships are taking their good old time destroying each other.
Right.
And I get it. Like the Dauntless is a much bigger and more powerful and more
Mm-hmm.
recent ship. But it's like those Ares class refits, those do not look new.
No.
Those I figure could have been destroyed a long time ago. The Akarans are technically dated a little bit, but it's like, the Sovereign is a pretty hefty ship. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, it can take some blows. But I feel like if the Sovereign's going after like an Akaran class, it wouldn't last very long. That's what
Right.
I'm saying. Like they're taking their good old time blowing each other up. It's
Oh
almost like
yes.
they're just like, yeah, we're fighting.
I
Eh,
took it short in the day,
eh.
so I
Oh yeah.
understand.
It was great.
But but now the infection has happened because before I was thinking to myself, okay, why don't we just send the living construct into the Terran universe? That would be a good idea.
That
But
would be that is a lower decks answer right there, and I love it. I'm all for it.
but they can't do that now because the infection has already happened, and
Mm-hmm.
so they've gone past that. But it'll be interesting to see how they do resolve it. But I do think resolving this issue, yeah, it's gonna happen. And whether everything becomes hunky dory and these kids they get inducted into Starfleet, then what happens in season two? I mean, like they at the moment they're like a motley crew. God, this itches my fucking face so much, man. They're like a motley crew, and
Natural, baby.
yeah, and uh, it's all good seeing them, gallivanting and doing their adventures. But once they become a part of Starfleet, that's over. It's over for them. They're not, they're a bunch of kids. They're not going to be given the Starfleet fucking vessel. So is this a one and done season? I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, you never know.
I Xanta, I would honestly say that I think you're right about the time travel. I think that I think what's going to happen is they are going to get stuck in a different timeline, or not timeline, but like different time.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's going to be but somehow they are going to get stuck somewhere, because you're right, like they're not just going to get inducted into the Federation. Dal can't be inducted into the Federation unless they make an exception.
Look at the
But
mechanics in the same way they did with fucking 709.
she
That
wasn't in Star. Well, I mean, you mean in Picard though? I was
yeah,
say
yeah.
she wasn't. 7 of 9 was not allowed in Starfleet after Voyager got home. Remember, they wouldn't let her in,
Yeah.
Oh
but they
yeah,
let
yeah, yeah.
Icheb in.
Yeah, I expect inconsistencies and fuck up in the writings. So, but the point is, yeah, this is the kids show, and everything's got to be hunky dory by the end. Everything's got to be all good. It's be sunshines and roses. That's what we're gonna have. But I just don't know what the future lies for Prodigy, because once if they become inducted into Starfleet, then that's it. There's no more adventures of just a bunch of kids is going into a Starfleet vessel and all of that. It's over. So it should be over. But
Well, I think you're right. I think there's going to be some kind of time travel shenanigans, and I think that we're going to see um, some kind of different what's the word I'm looking for? Like it's going to be some kind of different setting for next season. I think
I
that
just but at the same time, I don't want another season of them, yeah, having to try to get to Starfleet again because then you're repeating the formula again, and I don't want that because then what you're gonna do? You're gonna send them into a different timeline by the end of season two, like this needs to come to an end and maybe go a different direction for season two. Daniel Vance is saying, maybe season two can be about Chakotay.
Could be. Could be going back in time to rescue them and get them back on board and take them back to the Federation. That's
And the
no,
Chakotay
I,
thing has
I
to
well,
think
be.
I think I think they're going to keep the. I think they're going to try to keep the same Motley Crue style, and I think something's going to happen at the end
probably.
of the season that's going to isolate them from everything else. Either they'll be thrust into the Andromeda galaxy for some reason, or they'll be thrown back in time to before the Federation was made.
The gamma quadrant maybe, but I think I mean they might sacrifice themselves to get Chakotay back into the past or whatever, and because the Chakotay situation hasn't been resolved unless that get resolved in season two itself. Like if there is going to be a season two, oh god, it's a brain fuck. I mean, maybe everything doesn't get resolved. Like maybe there isn't a resolution at the end of next week. Maybe there's a resolution regarding the construct. I think that will be dealt with.
Oh
But
yeah.
regarding the lives of these kids, maybe that won't be resolved at all. So oh
Well, we
god,
just have to wait and see.
yes, we do. Now I just have to tell everybody that next week we're not going to be doing a live show of the final episode. We're going to be doing a recording because next week, next Thursday, is the Golden Glasses Awards, baby, and we want everybody who's associated with NerdTube to join us for that. We're going to be doing award ceremonies, giving out awards to what we think are the best reactions, films, all of these sorts of things. You can check on our channel to find out more because all the nominations are there. But so
Yeah,
yes,
all the People's Choice Awards are on the community page or tab on our channel. So, and then
so
we as contributors will be awarding the best and worst, like best and worst movie, best and worst TV show, best and worst new show, best and worst returning show, yada yada, so on and so forth.
I've been
now
there. I voted. I did my part.
now I'm going to be making an appearance on the Golden Glasses, but my last appearance on this show on this for this year will be tomorrow for National Treasure. Now, Bonnie, you need to watch that. There's only 3 episodes you need to watch. Just in case Chito can't make it tomorrow.
Oh, you
You
say
no, he's only saying no. You like it. You know why? Because it's American. It's about the American things. You know. And last time I checked, you're an American. So yes, you like it. It's about you. Do you like treasure hunting and Indiana Jones and all of that?
not really my thing.
No, no, don't worry. This is nothing like that actually. But nevertheless,
Ah, I like sci-fi stuff better than anything else.
yeah.
Oh, do
This
you
is.
like Indiana Jones and treasure hunting? Well, that's okay. That ain't like this.
Mm, I'm not really into
but,
Indiana Jones
Eh,
stuff.
but,
I mean,
but yeah,
I did watch it.
but
I did watch it before.
oh look, you have Disney Plus. So like you
Yep.
might as well get some use out of it and watch
Yeah.
the National Treasure. It's got American people in it, and yeah, it's got Catherine Zeta-Jones. Everybody love Catherine Zeta-Jones. So yeah, so yeah, we're gonna be reviewing episode 3 tomorrow. So yeah, and that will be my last appearance on NerdTube for 2022. And obviously, you see me in the golden glasses. But other
Yep.
than that, and even that would just be a cameo. But yes, so make the most out of me because after tomorrow, I'll be going around the world showering my gifts all over people. I know people can't wait for that. Because I am Santa Claus. Yes. Okay, so thank you. Oh, it's time to mark the episode. Cousin Chito, what you gonna give it? Hey,
I'll
where's that
give it.
poll?
Huh?
The poll out?
Oh yeah, the poll's out.
Okay, let me have
I'll
a
give
look.
it a 7. I mean, there were some kind of common sense mistakes in it. The one of the redeeming factors was all the starships and the pew pews and everything. But yeah, I mean, there were a couple inconsistent things in there that I was just like, it was irking me to no end.
I okay. I'm going to give this episode a 6. It's okay.
How did you
Yeah,
rank it higher than me?
a 6. You ranked it higher than me.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, or how come you ranked it lower than me? Like, man, I'm going for a 5 then. Shit.
No, you said what you said. I'm gonna give. I'm gonna give it a 6. It's a good episode. I mean, 6 is above average. But I'm just like, okay, I just get it. I've been at this. I want this to end shenanigan Malak. They could give us the best episode in the world, but my feeling towards this show right now is I just want this to fucking end. And so it gets a 6. Boon.
Well, you gave it a 6. Cheeto gave it a 7. Hey, I'm gonna give it a big old fat 8. How about that? I love all the shows. They're all fighting with each other. They all turn red, which red is my favorite color, as you can tell.
Hey, look at this. I'm red as well today.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
not
Yeah.
red.
I'm wearing my Star Trek shirt. Look at
I
that.
seen that. I seen that. And I got
Yes.
promoted to commander for being a good boom clause. Hey, how about that?
Oh, yes. I got promoted to shopkeeper.
There you go.
But okay.
I got promoted to shit slinger.
Uh-oh.
Uh-huh. Yes. So yeah, well at least this was better than Willow. And you like Willow. It's got Americans in it as well. So yeah, all right, so yeah, and what I don't know what Daniel Vance gave. Probably a 6 or something like that. It's hard to say sometimes. He can be very left field with his opinions and things, but still, yeah, the episode it was okay. I not I, personally my cup of tea this show anymore.
Mm.
But roll on, I guess, next week. And then when is Picard coming out?
February.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah, I think we're on break. I think we're on break for at least a month and a
2
half.
months.
Well, I mean, if next week's the finale, all of January, and I think it comes out either like early to mid February. So yeah, it's like going to be like 5 or 6 weeks that we're going to be free.
And how many episodes of Picard is there? 10 episodes?
Please hold while I look. Picard is in 56 days, so that's about 6 weeks. And there is, drum roll please, 10 episodes.
Yes, and we're gonna have pacifist Worf, like he wasn't already a pacifist in the first place. But yeah, okay, we're gonna have pacifist Worf. That's gonna be so stupid, in my opinion. Okay, but it looks like they're bringing out all the greatest hits for Picard season 3. They really are. Fucking Lord coming back. He looks more human than ever. We got fucking Professor James Moriarty. He's coming back. And obviously, well, you actually said it correctly, cousin Tito. Picard season 3 is TNG season fucking 8.
No, I mean
You know,
everybody. I mean, I can't take credit for that. Everybody's been saying that, but I mean,
well, I let you take credit for that, my friend.
okay.
So yeah. So
I will take it, Santa. That is your gift to me, is letting me
oh
take
yes,
credit.
yes, I shower you with my praise. So yeah, and then what's after that?
I don't know. There's nothing announced. I mean, we've obviously got Lower Deck season 4. That but
That looks like it'll come out later in the year.
yeah, Strange New World season 2 has been filming, so that's probably coming after Picard.
Well, I know
Discovery season 5. I mean,
they finished They finished filming that.
Yeah. So well, but they've not released any dates yet. The only thing we have a date for is Picard. So yeah,
But wait,
Okay,
Picard.
okay.
we do Quantum Leap coming up here the 1st of January.
Oh yeah, it's Quantum Leap as
Oh
well. I
yeah,
can't wait for it.
yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Quantum
Yeah.
Leap. If you guys are not watching that, you should watch it. It's absolutely awesome. It has the heart. It's not as necessarily as good as the original series, but the
Mhm.
heart is there. Like
Yep,
the character Benson. He's very endearing. You like following this guy.
yep.
So and there's more modern day stuff as well. So yeah, okay, we'll see how that pans out as well. So
I think
as
that
well
comes
as
out what January 3rd. I do believe.
is it okay? I look forward to
January
that as
2nd.
well. Oh, there
Ah,
you go.
sorry,
Wow,
I missed by one day.
That's okay. I just looked it up. So because I
That's
didn't
good.
know when it was coming back. The last time I heard, they just said
Yeah,
it was coming back in 2023. They
have
just
we
didn't
started
say
yeah.
watching?
when.
Have we started watching that yet,
No, I have not had a
Cheetah?
chance to watch it.
Okay, fair enough. And then I just finished watching Wednesday, by the way. Oh my god, that was a fucking slog, man. It's fucking Wednesday is like Adam Family meets Harry Potter. You know what I mean? It really is. It's like, oh my god. But I'm glad I finished watching that shit. Jenny Ortega, she's an excellent Wednesday, but I don't think the show was that fucking good. And on a couple of occasions, I fell asleep watching it. So that's not a good sign.
Yeah, that's never
Uh,
a good sign.
so
Good dog
Wednesday, it took me a
fighter
while to
over
yeah,
there.
yeah, it took me a while. It took me a while to get through as well as any Vance, as well as 1899. Oh my god! If you want to watch a show that will fuck your brain, watch 1899, and that's a slog to get through as well initially. And after watching 1899, and even though I kind of get what the ending is implying, all of the shit that's connected to the show, I still don't understand. It's like we took a long time to get to the ending, and it still doesn't fucking make any sense. But yeah, that's science fiction for you sometimes.
There you go,
Hello, Mr. Systems.
Mr.
Unfortunately, you
System.
got to
What's up?
Mr. System, the Irish Fantastico. Yes, you caught us at the end of the stream, my friend. Yeah, it's dark materials. It's rocking so much. I started again from the start. Okay, okay, well, fair enough. There's so many shows, my goodness. Like I can't
Mhm.
keep up. Like there's that David Beckham show I want to watch, but I just keep putting it on the back burner. Oh, it's exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. As well as like the new Secret Invasion that's going to be probably coming out very soon. So,
Yep.
oh my goodness, I don't know what the new Star Wars show is going to probably be. Come on, Argentina, you're damn right, my friend. Don't get
Mm,
me wrong. England, Argentina, we have a rivalry. The Argentinians, they really hate the English. They really fucking hate the English. But I'm very happy to see that Lionel Messi finally lifted the trophy and ended the debate of who the GOAT is between him and Cristiano Ronaldo. Because it's without doubt Lionel Messi. Okay, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Yes, it is. Okay, so no, I'm sorry, fellas, but we have to wrap things up now.
yep.
It's time for me to put my big fat juicy birds into their cages and charge my electric car and go to bed.
You have to
So
charge Zam's electric car and you have to put Zam big fat juicy birds.
no, 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 no. You don't understand. Whilst I'm living in this house, they're mine. Everything, his clothes, like this shirt, is mine. Yeah,
Okay. Possession
yeah.
is
I'm
nine
sorry.
tenths of the law, at least here in America.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. Look, Daniel Vance will get me tomorrow doing the National Treasury review, and I'll do a cameo on the Golden Asses Award. But after that, I'm gone, and Zam is back. And Zam is back. I have to spread my love and joy to
Yep.
all the people, and then I need to hibernate for 11 months. So you only get me for so long, I'm afraid. So yes. Okay. So anything more to add, fellas, before we depart?
Nope, I think that's
Everybody
it.
have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year coming up.
Oh yes, for
Merry
sure.
Christmas,
But catch us tomorrow. Catch us tomorrow for the fucking national treasure.
Yep.
Um, yes, you are, no, no, and you are what you have to force yourself, Daniel Vance. You have to force yourself. You
It
put the
might be working,
toothpick in
bro.
your eye. You put the toothpick in your eyelids, and you handcuff yourself to the chair, and you watch it. And what you do, you watch it, yeah, and you make yourself like it. You know. Okay. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel you never heard of. We'll see
Yep.
you tomorrow for National Treasure. Take care, everyone. Bye
Merry
bye.
Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody.